Wish you all a very pleasant morning. On behalf of GLS University, Faculty of Commerce, SMPIC, I, Dr. Kruti Paritosh, extend a very warm welcome to the President, GLS University, Shri Sudhir Nanavati, Associate Director, CIMA South Asia, Shri Bhaskar Ranjan Das, COO, GLS University, Ms. Chandni Kapadia, FCMA, CIMA UK, Ms. Anju Elvis, Provost, GLS University, Dr. Bhalchandra Joshi, Registrar, GLS University, Dr. Dharmesh Shah, all the learned faculty members across the globe, and dear colleagues, to the international webinar organized by GLS University's Faculty of Commerce, SMPIC, in association with Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, CIMA, on digital transformation in education, the new normal. GLS University, one of the premier universities in the state of Gujarat, has set many milestones within a very short journey since its establishment. GLS University has taken a leap forward and has set a pioneering role by offering programs in several disciplines such as business management, computer technology, research and doctoral studies, commerce, business administration, law, and many more. GLS University having a rich legacy of the sponsoring body Gujarat Law Society. GLS, established in the year 1927, was promoted by luminaries Shri Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, Shri Ganesh Mavlankar, and Shri I.M. Nanavati with the vision of excellence in education. The pandemic has sparked a worldwide shift in today's academic structure, and to take a leap forward, GLS University's Faculty of Commerce, SMPIC, has organized an international webinar in association with CIMA on a very relevant topic. To start the function on an auspicious note, may I request Dr. K. Urvara to offer a prayer to Almighty. Dr. K. Urvara.
Pranam and Namaskar, everyone. Sarveshwari, Jagadeshwari, Sarveshwari, Jagadeshwari, Sarveshwari, Jagadeshwari, हे मातृरूप महेश्वरी, सर्वेश्वरी, जगदीश्वरी, हे मातृरूप महेश्वरी, ममतामयी, करुणामयी, ममतामयी, करुणामयी, हे मातृरूप महेश्वरी, कृपारिणी, जगतारिणी, प्रतिपल भुवन भुवनेश्वरी, कृपारिणी, जगतारिणी, प्रतिपल भुवन भुवनेश्वरी, हे मातृरूप महेश्वरी, सर्वेश्वरी, जगदीश्वरी, हे मातृरूप महेश्वरी, हे मातृरूप महेश्वरी, हे मातृरूप महेश्वरी.
Thank you, Dr. Keyur Vora. Now, may I request CA Dr. Marzun Jokhi, Director, Faculty of Commerce, SMPIC, GLS University, to deliver welcome address. Dr. CA Marzun Jokhi.
Namaskar. A very warm welcome to respected Shri Sudhir Nanavati, President GLS University, Shri Bhaskar Ranjan Das, Associate Director CIMA South Asia, joining from Malaysia, Woman Superachiever Ms. Chandni Kapadia, joining from Mumbai, Keynote Speaker of the webinar Ms. Anju Elvis, joining from Dubai, Provost of GLS University Dr. B.H. Joshi, Registrar of GLS University, Dr. Dharmesh Shah, all learned faculty members who have joined the webinar across the globe, and dear colleagues, a very warm welcome to all of you. Gone are the days when classroom teaching and learning was restricted to textbook learning. Teachers using the blackboard to explain things and students writing down notes in the diary, I think is going to become a history. The outbreak of COVID-19 has led to multiple challenges in all areas of our life and including education. The COVID-19 pandemic has suddenly pushed the seekers as well as the imparters of education to engage in such a drastic digital transformation. COVID-19 has challenged and changed the traditional classroom learning pattern and proved that learning is possible from anywhere. The pandemic has given an opportunity for the educators to rethink on the approach of learning. At GLS University, under the visionary leadership of multifaceted and charismatic President Shri Sudhir Nanavati sir, we are relatively agile to adapt to what is needed to ensure continuity of learning. The top management of GLS University has always believed that academic scholars from all disciplines will have to be motivated, guided, and be equipped with all possible new technologies as their academic courses and programs are being reconfigured and need to adapt a new and uncertain future. This is the reason of organizing the international webinar. I'm highly grateful to respected President of GLS University, Shri Sudhir Nanavati, COO, Ms. Chandni Kapadia, and Shri Devang Nanavati for providing us a platform for organizing this international webinar on a very pertinent topic. I once again welcome you all to the international webinar organized by GLS University Faculty of Commerce in association with CIMA. I hope, I wish, and I am sure that today's academic interface will provide a fruitful insight and would be value addition to our knowledge. Welcome once again. Have a healthy brainstorming academic session. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Marzun Jokhi. GLS University has been established under the able and visionary leadership of President Shri Sudhir Nanavati, with the objective of providing an ideal and creative learning environment to the students. Shri Sudhir Nanavati is a senior counsel practicing in the apex court of India, including Supreme Court of India. He is also a member of Supreme Court Bar Association and International Law Association. He is a recipient of prestigious awards and recognitions at international level. Shri Sudhir Nanavati is a brand ambassador of Swachh Gujarat Mission under Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, an initiative by Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi. We are very happy to have his omnipresence in today's international webinar. May I now invite multifaceted and charismatic personality, Shri Sudhir Nanavati sir, for the presidential address. Shri Sudhir Nanavati.
Good morning to everyone. On behalf of GLS University, on behalf of SMP Faculty of Commerce, as well as in behalf of CIMA, in whose association today's webinar is organized, I welcome each and every delegate and participants for this webinar. Our relations with Chartered Institute of Management Accountant goes long back of more than a decade. We were having an opportunity of organizing the international seminar jointly at Sri Lanka before about 10-12 years back, and thereafter at Malaysia also. From that angle, I in particular welcoming Sir Sri Bhaskar Ranjan Das, the President of the CIMA South Asia, as well as the keynote address of today's webinar, Ms. Anju Alvis. With me, my colleague, CEO Chandni Kapadia, Dr. Balchandra Joshi, Provost, as well as the Registrar of the University, Dr. Dharmesh Shah, also take opportunity of welcoming each and every participants to this webinar. I believe that COVID-19 has not left a single human being on the earth from his adverse effect, whether it is directly affecting anyone or indirectly in one or the other manner. So many type of problems, difficulties, and crisis comes in the life. If war take place, certain part of the world affects. If earthquake comes like natural calamity, the another part of the earth also affects. But this is such type of crisis where each and every humankind on the earth is affected. Then what the required to be done? Because it is said that show must go on. We all are human beings, and the God has given such a strength and brain to each and every human being to find out a way. When one window is closed, the nature always keep other windows open to continue the activity of the human being. It only requires to find out which windows are more suitable, comfortable, where the life can comfortably can be acted upon. This seems to be the today's need of the day in my understanding. The COVID-19, once it is affecting each and every human being, one is required to change the approach to life. It has been changed in this last 4 or 5 months by now in each and every country by the people of all the countries are concerned. Previously, it was said that when you are tired of your regular activity at the end of the certain intervals, you should take break. You should go out of your workplace and see that you get mental as well as physical relaxation. It has changed, and we have been understood now that the comfort can be received or achieved even sitting at home also. So what the need is, change the approach of yours as far as your business is concerned, work is concerned, activities are concerned, even your families, living in the families are concerned with your relatives, friends, etc. I understand the same thing applies for the education also. Principal Jockey in his speech has stated that the now classroom teaching is going to become an history in future. It is true that the blackboard teaching method or the chalk and duster method will be going out of the procedure for the purpose of teaching or learning is concerned in the classroom. What is now going to be, that is what subject is today. No doubt our keynote speakers are the well versed about this subject, who will be highlighting more on transformation in education is concerned in these pandemic circumstances. But I understand that when the teachers and more particularly professors of the higher educations are concerned, who are the participants also, they have to be now more accurate in their delivering the subject is concerned. Because in classroom when you are teaching on a blackboard, if some mistake happens, it can be rubbed, it can be cancelled, it can be forgotten. But when you are the teaching through the such type of platforms, which is the platforms of today's available, where everything is recorded, where everything is going to remain, and when you are seeing on the screen and teaching, you have to be more accurate in what you are delivering to the students or to the listeners. So this is the type of accuracy which you have to achieve, which you have to be trained. And this is the what at GLS University we are now taking a task to see that our trainers are trained properly, so that when deliver their own subjects to the various students through this type of platforms, then naturally the accuracy level increases. The such type of facility, as I say, it's a need of the day. And the government of India in New Education Policy 2020 is also putting the more weightage that through this type of the platforms and transformations of your thoughts process should be uh, taken on such a way or such a level that in future the study through the such type of transformation is possible and is made available. I'm always saying, thinking positive, that God is always great. Suppose this type of COVID-19 situation or pandemic circumstances would have come just before 10 or 15 years, at least more particularly in India, we were not having this type of facility available. When the facility is available, unfortunate this situation has come. But fortunately, looking to from the positive point of view, that it on the contrary helps in changing your total approach of the life, approach of the study in education, and approach in the so many other type of activities pertaining to the any human being is going to be possible or remain the same. Is only the methods are changed. Nothing is lost. On the contrary, the system will help a lot because it is easy. They reduce your energy to go to the campuses. It reduces your energy to keep the notes and everything, because everything remains being recorded and also like in your library. So I really convey my gratitude to Principal Jockey of SMP College and his faculty members who have thought it fit at the appropriate time to organize such type of webinar, and more particularly in association with CIMA, to whom we have got a long relation of more than the 15 years. Once again, I welcome each and every participants and delegates of the country as well as outside the country who are joining in this webinar. And also, once again, I convey my gratitude more particularly to Ms. Anju Avis, who is the keynote the speaker, as well as Sri Bhaskar Ranjan Das, the president of CIMA, for giving us an opportunity to join with them on this type of platform. Thank you very much. Welcome, and let's change our approach to the life.
We can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, Pascal, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can't hear the hosts. I don't know if they want me to start or.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Mr. Bhaskar Ranjan Das, Associate Director, CIMA South Asia, having industry experience of 34 years in diverse sectors such as IT software and services, education and consulting. Mr. Bhaskar has experience in large enterprise as well as startups in new business areas in outsourcing, e-learning, corporate universities, and project consulting. May I now invite Associate Director, CIMA South Asia, Mr. Bhaskar Ranjan Das, to deliver the plenary address. We are happy to welcome Sir directly from Malaysia. So we welcome you, sir, once again to this international webinar. Mr. Bhaskar Ranjan Das.
आज काम हो गया।
Thank you and good morning, everyone. I hope you're able to see my screen and hear me. It is a pleasure for me to be associated with GLS University, SMP, and I thank you for the opportunity. So I want to share a small perspective about how this disruption is changing education. And what I'm saying is not really new, but I just want to put it into a separate context. So some trends that we are seeing across India is this is the trend that we are seeing for education and skilling. And I'm not going to read out every point in the slide. The slides are available. I will share them with you. But one thing is becoming clear, that there is a demand for non-traditional courses, and the traditional degree will become slowly lesser and lesser important, and skills will become more and more important. And this is not just India, but it's happening across the world. And universities are seeing this and have been seeing this over the last few years. And disruption is everywhere, so we are not immune from disruption. It's there in every part of our life, and COVID-19 has just brought this and accelerated this disruption. And it has, while it has prevented us from doing many things, it's also enabled many things for us. And we can already see that the CEO of Apple is saying that a 4-year degree is not necessary for coding. So this is just the beginning of that trend. We are also seeing that youngsters don't need to come from a very elite or wealth background to learn. So anybody can learn. It just depends on whether you have the appetite for learning. Now, unfortunately, this resembles a classroom, but this does not resemble any real world business setting. But today, this resembles a real world business setting. And this is what we are surrounded by today. So we have our computers, our smartphones, we have our apps, we have everything. And these are the tools that we'll need to use for learning. And have we been using this? Can we use this? Of course we can. The other thing is our assessments. In real life, people don't solve problems at their workplace by locking themselves in a room for 3 hours with no books, no internet access, and not talking to anybody and answering questions. But unfortunately, these are the assessments of today. But these are not the skills that we hire for today. Universities are already taking step forward by using the education technology routes to modify curriculum. It's not possible in today's times for faculty to know everything and to teach everything. But what is possible for faculty to do is to take a route where you can learn from different sources. You can learn from the internet, you can learn from Google, you can learn from Twitter, you can learn from any source. And you can bring it into a discussion forum where you can talk about an issue or solve a real world problem. And this is the role of faculty today, is not to teach, because the content is available. Once you get your content, and you can keep updating your content, but you really don't need to teach like you would teach in a classroom. What it means today is that you have to facilitate and enable discussions. You have to get learners to start thinking. The learning trends we see, apart from the classroom, so learning happens through ebooks, through audio or podcasts, through various apps, through pictures, of course, videos, YouTube, etc. Learning through programming. So coding is slowly becoming a necessity in today's world. I'm not talking about coding the way I used to do coding in college. Today's coding is far easier. It is more graphic, and all you need to do is drag and drop different pieces of pre-prepared code into a program. Learning through virtualization, that's the new technology coming in. Learning through networks, and this is something that I have always insisted is very, very vital. Our networks define what we are. Our networks define where am I going to work tomorrow. Our networks facilitate and enable a lot of the things that we do. And of course, learning by doing. So nothing is as important as doing, and this is where the maximum learning happens, especially in our workplace. A look at some trends. If you look at some of the professional qualifications in India, we are seeing that there's been a steady decline over the last 10 years. This is not my data. This is the data from CA India. The MBA applicants across the years has kind of remained constant. So it's, whereas the population is growing, the student population is growing. So some trends, and you can see this, is that tradition is slowly taking a break. And now with COVID-19, we will have to change and adapt to the current learning models to service what the industry requires. Now, this is not true for India alone. Universities around the world are facing this challenge. There is too much of emphasis on science and technology, and the humanities streams are often neglected, but no more. Humanities and commerce streams, you will be pleased to know that these are the growing trends across the world for learning institutions. And humanities and language skills itself leads to an upliftment of societies. And you have simple examples. A person who knows another language apart from their mother tongue is better skilled. And we've seen this in our day-to-day lives. High costs and fees were a barrier, but it's no longer a barrier today. Today, anybody can learn if they want to learn. And technology innovation is no longer a novelty. So I did an MBA from an Australian business school 10 years ago, and I did it online. And we were using the same tools and technologies that are available today, their earlier versions. So we were getting into an international classroom. There was no Zoom at that time, of course. We were talking to faculty from around the world. Our co-learners in the class were from around the world. We were using chat and we were using Skype to talk and have smaller groups and discussions, and of course to submit our projects. Now, the 4-year degree today has given way or needs to become a 40-year degree. Your learning doesn't stop at the end of college or university. The learning continues. Now, when I left university, I thought that was the end of my learning days. Unfortunately, I learned far more today than I ever did in college. So this is nothing new. Technology will disrupt, the environment will disrupt, and we need to take care of the environment. Competition will, of course, disrupt. Geopolitics, and we are seeing how this plays out, so this will disrupt. So a lot of things will disrupt what we are doing. And therefore, we need to bring in a new set of competencies and skills to manage disruption. And this is not driven by content. Content is there everywhere. We can easily source content. What is this shaped by is the mindset. So earlier, what we used to do as academics is we used to sit in a classroom, listen to a lecturer or a faculty and take notes. And we would go back home and study a little more and come back and maybe replicate this in an exam. Now that didn't make us think, not the way we are supposed to think today. Today, we need to have a questioning mindset. The information is there. We need to question, is that information relevant? We need to act on that information. And we need to keep learning, keep upgrading ourselves as we go along. And this is why reskilling becomes really, really important. This is a report, and you can Google the World Economic Forum and you will see this. What are the 21st century skills that every student needs? And on the left-hand side are your foundational skills, which is a given, which is what we do. But these are the skills that require 21st century learners to adapt. Critical thinking and problem solving. The art of questioning. Why are we doing what we are doing? Do we really need to do this? A sense of curiosity. Now, unfortunately, our curiosity goes out the minute we become adults from children. But it is more important today to be curious and to know why something happens the way it happens. Why do we do something the way we have used to doing it? And do we need to continue? And of course, social and cultural awareness. I mean, today we live in a virtual world. India or the borders of our own country are no longer our limits. Today, we don't need a visa or a work permit to work in the US. We can do work for a US company sitting in our countries. And same is true for any learner across the world, any worker across the world. So it's, while we are divided by geopolitics, we are divided by our geographical boundaries, we are today in a borderless internet world. And we need to adapt to this change. This is a skill that we need to learn, because any change is difficult, and we all have our own personal examples as to how we are coping with change. But the faster we adapt to a change, and we bring in ourselves to accept the change, the faster we will see the possibilities out of that change. I'll give you an example. As a learning institution, we are defined by, let's say, a classroom, a college size, our infrastructure. We can cater to so many. Today's change environment, we can now, the world is our market. We can go and address 1,000 learners, and they need not necessarily be from Gujarat, they need not necessarily be from India, they need not necessarily be from Asia, they can be from anywhere in the world. They need not necessarily be college students. They could be somebody who's 40 years old, somebody who's 60 years old, or somebody who's still in school. So this is the change thinking that we need to adapt and adopt in order to bring in the necessary skills and competencies that we need to. A look at careers. So careers will now be defined with skill sets. And this I'm talking is from the CIMA research. And we are saying that people will no longer be hired for degrees. They still will be for maybe a couple of years, but after that, it will all be skill sets. And skills will become certified and certifiable by digital badges, and it's already being done. If you go to my LinkedIn profile, you will see that I have a couple of digital badges which I proudly show. People will hire you for multiple skills. You can acquire multiple skills, and employers will hire us for multiple skills. At the same time, this gives us as an individual to work for multiple employers. No longer are we tied to one employer for a particular period of time, and we can work across multiple geographies. This is just a snapshot to showcase whether you're learning a new language, whether you're doing counseling or teaching, or whether you're picking up a skill like analytics or blockchain. You now have all these digital badges which you can proudly display on your social media. The only competitive advantage that an individual, an organization, or an institution will have will be the ability to learn faster. Now, that is what will define each one of us. Thank you, and I look forward to the deliberations on today's conference.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your informative address. Ms. Channi Kapadia, Chief Operating Officer, GLS University, has been conferred with prestigious World Women Leadership Congress Award in the year 2019. She is also the recipient of Iconic Woman Award by the World Economic Forum, Black Swan Award for Women Empowerment by Asia One, and the CEO Award by Indian Achievers Forum in the year 2020. Here I would like to mention, due to some medical emergency, Ms. Channi Kapadia, COO GLS University, will be unable to deliver her plenary address. We are happy to have Ms. Anju D. Elvis, FCMA CIMA UK with us. Ms. Anju Elvis has completed her MBA from Manchester Business School. She is a certified global management accountant, ACPA Australia, member of CIMA Mesana, Regional Advisory Panel, and member of Thought Leadership and Business Ethics Committee of the association. She is currently leading in an innovative education company, Ultimate Access via technology and agility, to become one of the leaders in corporate and higher education. May I now invite Ms. Anju Elvis, FCMA SEMA UK, to deliver her keynote address from Dubai. Ms. Anju Elvis.
Thank you very much. And I'm going to share my screen with you. I hope everyone can see my screen and you could hear me well.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Good day to you all, and I'm delighted to be with an esteemed group of people with GLS University and, of course, my SEMA colleagues, Bhaskar and the others. And it is indeed a pleasure to talk to people in India as well as the others across the world. And today's topic being digital transformation in education, well, this is really very, very close to my heart. And I just want to mention that I'm based in Dubai and working at Ultimate Access, but I teach students from different parts of the world. And that shows the diversity and that shows the power of technology that we face currently and the opportunities that we have as well. I come from Australia and living in Dubai. Well, And Dubai, currently the weather is fantastic, very good. But as you know, everyone is facing a difficult situation. So therefore, we are limited with our move about. I want to start off with a quotation by a great man, Sir Ken Robbins. Part of the adventure is not just developing creativity in kids, but thinking about schools in a different way. I think our previous speakers spoke a lot about this and stated how important it is for us to think differently when it comes to teaching and when it comes to developing minds. We are in a very strong position as educators. We are in a position to influence people. We are in a position to build leaders. So therefore, I think this is an amazing opportunity for us to reach out to people beyond our geographic borders. So in today's world, and this has been happening for some time as well, we have a lot of issues. There is a gap between employees' ability and the employer's expectation. And the employees are, of course, the students who are coming from schools, and then they come into the universities. Some they don't go to the universities, but well, this is the kind of pathway, isn't it? Why is it that there is such a gap? And the question is, how are we going to mitigate or reduce the gap? Basker, in his presentation, showed the importance of 21st century skills. Most universities, most education institutes in the world are focused around the foundation literacies. But however, it is so important for us to focus on these competencies, the character qualities that are necessary for the 21st century. And we need to look at our content, the way we deliver it, and think, are we building the 21st century skill sets that's needed? And are we doing it at our universities? Are we doing it at our education institutes? So this is a very philosophical discussion. And it is an important discussion that needs to be brought up at the highest level. And it's amazing that GLS University, a very prestigious university, is thinking about these things and really questioning the way you're doing the delivery, the way you're partnering, the way you are teaching the students at the university. And well, let us look at the skill gaps and why they occur not just in India, but it's a global problem. There's constant technological changes and the shortcomings in the academic systems as well. Then, of course, we need to have a lot of apprenticeship training opportunities. That means collaborating with partners. And employers and educators, they rate things in a different way, but we need to look at what does the business want, what does the job market require. We do have a lot of problems, issues at hand. However, as Jack Ma says, opportunities lie in the place where complaints are. Therefore, I think there is amazing opportunity in front of us, and it is just there for us to grab and move forward. And then I would like to touch on this ecosystem of learning. It is just not the teacher and the content. It is, of course, the technology, the social industry relationships, the students, parents, all of them coming together to build this ecosystem, which is vital for the 21st century skill sets. Whether it's a learning management system like Moodle that you're using, or you're using a communication platform like WebEx, it is important to have the relationships with professional associations such as SEMA and corporates, business partners, and of course the all-important lecturers. So the lecturers, this is just for you. Well, you have a very difficult task to compete with Google. So I would suggest we just leave it at that and say, well, let Google do some work for us. So why don't we get learners to start creating content for us? Why don't you be that facilitator? And the learner then suddenly will come up with amazing content, which is totally student-centric and quite personalized. And how do we do it? Why can't we have some fun doing it? Make it original and make it different every semester, because we can come up with competitions, contests, and we can get them to think creating of that content be fun and use different mediums to do it. By a learner doing something like this, they're going to be immersed in the topics, immersed in the subject that you want them to learn. Something else that we do is flipped classroom, and we do this flipped classroom online. So another thing that you need to really be conscious of is that even the best actor in the world cannot go on commanding interest for 3 hours, right? It's not possible. Even the biggest movies, they are for a very short period of time. So we need to be conscious of that fact and think, well, we're not producing a movie of 2 hours, and we are no Shah Rukh Khan. I know you guys love your movies, right? So please, we need to be very conscious of what we create. Create very short videos, 10 minutes, pre-recorded videos. That will give the learner kind of setting the scene. This is what we're expecting of you. This is what the subject is at a high level. Create active learning groups. Get them to learn online. Why not open it up to others across the world? Why do we have to only contain it to Gujarat in India? Why is it? So this is where those discussions, the why questions come up, and we start changing the way we teach. And you become that facilitator, guiding active learning and student-centered environment. That's what we are doing. Another very painful, difficult, challenging thing is evaluation. So why don't we flip it again? Get students to create short videos, upload them, get the students to vote and critique on certain their peers' content. Well, this is again going to be very different. Why not bring in industry partnerships, bring in professional associations like SEMA, bring in businesses into this evaluation space, and actually bring in a business problem to solve? That's going to get very exciting, isn't it? The evaluation goes to a different level altogether. So I like to talk a little bit about this. This is something, again, this person inspired me, and this particular project started way back in 1999. And I'm talking about Dr. Sugata Mitra, a TED Prize winner in the 2013 and a proud Indian, of course. He is, if you've not watched his TED Talks, please do. They're just amazing, inspirational. And this experiment in 1999 showed that, well, the students or people and children, they just need facilitation. Provide an environment and just guidance. And the children of slums in Delhi were able to understand and work with the World Wide Web. And this is way back in 1999. So what he said is collective learning through spontaneous order, and that's the internet. That will take us to that next level. So why not use it? And if we train children to ask questions in the right circumstance, they can learn everything. So your job is to be asking that questions and being that facilitator. And this is an amazing thing to see in Delhi, how these kids learned their web, and they did it in a self-organizing learning environment. You could see kids of different age groups learning. And this is a fascinating video to watch as well. And there's this amazing book called The School in the Clouds. I hope you get a chance to read it. And something else that you should be looking at is, again, when we look at content creation, why not reach out to other organizations, other areas where they've already created content? So PBS Education in the US is one of those organizations that has got plenty of content available. And maybe you can look at that and use it as well, if appropriate. This is another real life story, and I just wanted to talk about this to showcase how powerful education is. And this is a Netflix, it's on Netflix and Prime Video. It's called College Behind Bars, true story about bringing in education to prisons and changing the dynamics altogether. And you could see these prisoners have been there. This is in the US. They've been there for for a long time. Some kids at the age of 15, 16, they've gone to prison. And they really take on this education and they become different individuals. So you could see the power that you as educators have amongst, on people. What kind of power that you have, just to change a person's life. That's an amazing thing. And it is not just one person, it is plenty. But why don't we change the lives of many through internet? Because you hold the knowledge, you have the way to facilitate, you know how to facilitate. So it's just a matter of changing, reaching out to these people and changing their lives. And this is by one of the people who were there, one of the prisoners who became a changed man. And this is just amazing, an amazing video. There's another one. This is in India, where a person called Dr. George Abraham, and it is in Shanti Bhavan. Again, a very moving story about Dr. George Abraham here, on the right-hand side, and his son Ajay. And these children are all children who went to Shanti Bhavan, and they're from very poor backgrounds. They go in there as kids and they become change agents. So Dr. George Abraham's main goal is to create multipliers so that these children are able to change others' lives, very much like what you do as educators. So again, I like to emphasize the importance of partnerships and networks. SEMA CGMA Association is the largest accountancy body in the world. We've got very, very strong relationships across the world with many businesses. And we also do a lot of research on subject areas in business management and management accounting, technology, the latest technologies like AI and blockchain. We got strong academic relationships like the ones of GLS University. And because we are such a big accountancy body, we do have a lot of influence with governments and policymakers. Just want to look at the role of the accounting function, the finance function. Some years ago, we were just finance working in isolation. This was many years ago. However, we have transformed with technology to provide insight, influence, and impact to the business world. So it is very important that we as finance professionals saw the importance and influence of information technology. And technology will certainly add to our next level in our profession, be it a finance profession or as an educator. So as I mentioned, we do a lot of research. We have a separate section at the association that we carry out a number of research with quite a number of companies across the world. So having the partnership with SEMA CGMA, the university certainly can benefit with the partnerships that we offer, and then see what is the latest that's happening around the world. And as Alvin Toffler mentions, the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. I think this is the time where we really have to look at the way we educate our future. And again, as Jack Ma says, the world will not remember what you say, but it will not forget what you have done. Are we going to make that difference? And I like to end today's session with this quote by my favorite Sugata Mitra, that's learning is the new skill, imagination, creation, and asking new questions are at its core. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am, for a very interesting and informative session. And now may I invite Dr. Ashil Bhatt to propose vote of thanks.
as it is rightly said, all good things must come to an end. On behalf of GLS University, Faculty of Commerce, SMPIC, it is my privilege to propose the vote of thanks to all who have helped us in making the webinar such a resounding success. First of all, I would like to propose hearty vote of thanks to our President of GLS University, Shri Sudhir Nanavati sir, for his presidential address. Thank you very much, sir, for your very interesting and thought-provoking address. I would like to thank our distinguished speaker, Shri Bhaskar Ranjan Das, for his plenary address and sharing his views on the topic which is the need of the day. I would like to express our profound gratitude to the COO of GLS University, Ms. Chandni Kapadia, for her constant support. I would like to thank our keynote speaker, Ms. Anju Elvis, for making excellent presentations and making this webinar interesting and meaningful. Finally, the wonderful academicians who have turned up in such great numbers from various educational institutions. Thank you so much for your cooperation. I take this opportunity to extend gratitude to our Provost, GLS University, Dr. B.H. Joshi sir, Registrar, GLS University, Dr. Dharmesh Shah sir, and our Director, Dr. M.E. Joki sir, for their vision and guidance to conduct online events on such international virtual platforms and making it a grand success. I extend our gratitude to the technical support team of GLS University with a special mention to Professor Dhruv Brahmpat to help us conduct this webinar without any interruption. Finally, once again, thank you all for your cordial support. Thank you. Have a nice day.
હવે ગેસ્ટને તારે બાય નથી કેવું ચોખ્ખી હવે ગેસ્ટ હોય ને એને બાય કહેવાનું પ્લીઝ.
Thank you, everyone. I take this opportunity to thank all the delegates. Special thanks to Dr. Bhaskar sir and Anju ma'am. Thank you for joining all the way from Malaysia and Dubai, and thank you all the delegates for joining from different parts of the different countries of the world. I thank all of you. Stay safe, take care, have a nice day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anju ma'am.